Dom, I found Maria. She's in this pod smoking crack, Dom. I found her. She's high on crack.
Welcome on back to Book Smart Life Dumb. It's episode 17, and I'm going to start off by apologizing to you, dear listener. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sometimes when you run a one-man operation, behind the scenes, there is several brain cells working on that dear so beloved thing you like to listen to on a weekly basis. And unfortunately, last Friday, all 4 of my brain cells were tired. They needed a break. They needed a week-long break. I informed the patrons over on Discord, but I didn't let anybody else know. Sorry about that. And do apologize. I do apologize. I'm sorry. But happy June, everybody. Pride Month out there to all those who celebrate, which should be everybody. But yeah, man, listen, last week, while I was, supposed to be recording Booksmart Life Dumb, I was actually sleeping because your boy had their work schedule completely flipped, turned, and upside down. I was working more days in a row than I usually do, and all of my shifts were from 7 p.m. to 3:30 in the morning. I am not a third shifter. I'm one at heart because, a lot of the streams tend to run pretty late. And, that's different kind of work. I still kind of see streaming as work. And I think that's just a way for me to feel like it's more productive than it actually is. But, listen, these shifts are different kinds of animals. For those who are unaware, I work in delivery grocery, which is a very niche market, I guess. But it has its demand. It has plenty of demand there. And with that is the late night crowd who is typically ordering a lot of snacks. I wouldn't say full grocery orders around that 7 o'clock to midnight time frame. And it's like our peak hours. So usually I work from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I walk probably 20,000 steps, I would say, in that shift. These shifts are more 30,000 step shifts. These are definitely much more fast-paced shifts. And I gotta say, I might as well be jogging for those like 5 hours between 7 p.m. and midnight on concrete floor too, nonetheless. But I did get some new work shoes as a little birthday gift from what would her name be here? Mama Booksmart? I don't know. From my mom. She wanted me to get some new shoes, so she helped me out with that. So that's where I was. I wasn't off doing anything too fun. I did have a visitor. Unfortunately for her, I was working the entire time except for one day that she was here. We made the most out of that day, though. And she's an absolute trooper. Because while I was at work, she was able to sit at my desk and hit the record button for Show. So they got to have their episode without me, which is actually the first episode of Show, I think in like 75 episodes that I was not in. Anytime I needed to take a break or I was away, my co-hosts, whether that had been Tofu at the time or Beard, they were just like, all right, well, we'll just skip a week since you won't be there. And I'm like, come on, man. Y'all can carry the torch without me, man. I will say Show definitely became my baby. It started out as an idea I had for Tofu, who was running a subathon. And the idea was to host a stream where we use a viewer call-in feature that Twitch has. And that just turned into a weekly podcast based off of that. And, as time progressed, less viewers would call in and we would just bring on our own guests, and that would always be fun. And it was always such a nice way just to spend a Saturday night, because I always aspired to hang out and talk to the people, especially in role play, hang out with and talk with the people that play the characters instead of talking to their characters the whole time. You don't get to understand who you're hanging out with when you are permanently surrounding yourself by a facade of a person, a fake personality. And it was just a nice way every week to sit down and just hang out for what was once 2 hours. Now it's down to 90 minutes of just hanging out and just shooting the shit, man. We had a lot of things happen though over the last 2 weeks. So we had an absolute slew of publishers, developers, what have you, hosting their game conferences, their press conferences and everything. We had the Apple showcase that happened as well. It's interesting how like it just like it all stacks on top of each other like that. I know like it probably makes sense from like the game industry standpoint because they're all like, you know, keep a tabs on each other. It's just how that goes. It's why like even the movie industry does this too, where you'll notice that like 2 or 3 of the same movie are coming out at the same time, where it's like one movie's coming out and it's about outer space. It's about a guy trapped in outer space and his adventures are trying to get back home. And it's coming out from, we'll say, Sony Pictures. And then Disney is going to put out now a film about a man trapped in space on a journey to come back home. Then on top of that, you have like Paramount, who is now going to release a movie on a streaming service about a person who was left behind in space and is now on a journey on their way back home. This happens so often, and I feel like we definitely go through like seasons of similar movies coming out, but sometimes, man, like in the same summer, the same premise is getting made into a movie 4 times over. And you know what? But that is a bit different in film, because in film, what happens is that scripts will get shopped around to different studios, and some will either pass on it, some will want to pick it up, others will bid on it. And in the studios that don't end up getting the script that was shopped around, they just start developing their own version. They just start developing their own, which is crazy to me. In the video game world, as far as publishers go, you don't have a lot of similar games that all come out, you know, side by side to each other. It's not like in November, we're going to have Grand Theft Auto 6 come out, and then we're going to have Grand Larceny 2 follow up for like a week after it. But in press releases, in news, in a lot of different aspects of gaming, you get a lot of these likewise similar topics and headlines that are coming out. I think something probably in a lot more recent memory for folks would be something around like the changes in pricing around hardware. That also is influenced by manufacturers and where the parts for all these consoles and graphics cards and what have you come from. But it always feels like those announcements that like the PlayStation is going to be $100 more, the Xbox is going up $100 more. You know, graphics cards this year around are going to be priced $200 above average pricing. Those all seem to kind of like show up in what might as well be the exact same like cover of the newspaper. And then you have what we just had. You had the Xbox Game Showcase. You had the State of Play from PlayStation. You had Nintendo Direct that came out from Nintendo. You also had WWDC from Apple unveiling new stuff. More on the development side. They don't do their major like new iPhone, new iPad announcements until later on in the year. But so you had like these 4 major conferences, if you want to count Apple in there. You had these 3 major conferences for video games. They call it the not E3 season. For those who are unaware, and for those who are a bit new to the gaming world, or I guess new to life in general, because I think a lot of us forget how long it's been since E3's been a thing. E3 was a convention. It was a trade show, I want to say, by definition. It was a trade show that centered around electronics, entertainment, etc. I don't think that's what the third E in E3 stood for, but if it did, kudos. But this was where you were going to get your big video game announcements. This was San Diego Comic-Con for video games. This was like the convention. This was the place to have your eyes affixed to and your ears pointed when it came to anything that came out of video game news. And so now you have not E3. You have Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo doing all their own independent showcases. Out of that, you got a lot of great games to look forward to. And I think the biggest takeaway before I even really get into the weeds on this was that there weren't a lot of the typical sometime in 2027, there weren't a lot of ambiguous and vague release dates, which I think is such a nice change of pace for things, man. Like, seriously. I mean, in the Xbox Game Showcase, I mean, we had Halo, which is coming out. Halo Campaign Evolved. That comes out in July. That comes out, I think, July 28th. Like, I'm going to be playing that before we hit episode 30, I will be playing that game, which on a weekly basis isn't that far away. We're on episode 17 here. And then you have also the new Gears of War title, which is coming out, another beloved franchise over in the Xbox world of things. That comes out later this year too, with a fixed release date. I don't have it in front of me, but it comes out. Oh, actually, it's right here. Comes out on October 6th. That's actually way earlier than I thought. I thought it was going to be rivaling Grand Theft Auto in November. Fable is making a wonderful return, and it's coming out in February of 2027, February 23rd to be exact. And then you have a new Doom title to come out. Not Doom title, sorry, DLC coming out on July 7th, even earlier than that. And I feel like it's been so long since we've had like a bombshell moment in gaming like that, where I know I won't call these bombshells, but these are about as close as we're gonna get. And what I mean by bombshell moment too is when they play you this awesome like 5-minute like cut of gameplay footage from a new game, and everybody's stoked about it, and the combat looks awesome, and the graphics look revolutionary, and the voice acting and the character acting and the mechanics just have the audience captivated, and you can hear it in the microphones pointed at the crowd, the oohs, the ahs, the gasps, the cheers. And then a guy in a suit walks out across the stage amidst the applause and goes, and you can actually go home and play it right now. I miss that. I miss these, like, boom, here you go, have it. You're stoked for it now. We want to capture how stoked you are as an audience and give you what you want at the peak of your interest. If you all look under your chairs right now, you will feel an Xbox plastic case taped to the bottom of your chair, and you're all taking it home right now. And then everyone's like, oh my God. And I can't remember the last time we had something like that. And I'm probably having some level of rose-tinted glasses about it too. That's not something that happened like every 20 minutes at E3, but it's something that definitely doesn't happen now. And for stuff to be coming out in the first week of July, that's announced and being shown off, hell yeah. That's gonna be sick. At PlayStation, I think the big news was that they've got a new God of War spin-off game. People are interested in that one. I didn't have a chance to watch it as of this recording, it being the showcase and what have you. Biggest takeaway is I saw that you were actually going to be playing a different character. You're not going to be playing the God of War himself, Mr. Kratos. You'll actually be playing the wife, and I believe you're playing her after she's deceased. So this is like a journey into the afterlife kind of thing. And they're remastering all the old God of War games, which are games I actually never got a chance to play. I wasn't a PlayStation kid at that time. I was very heavy into my Xbox 360 when that was out. But we had a PlayStation too, but we were a Guitar Hero household as well. So not a lot of God of War going on in that house. We had another look at the next game in the Insomniac Marvel's, whatever you want to call it, the Insomniverse, the developers Insomniac, who made the wonderful and honestly some of my favorite video games, the Spider-Man video games on the PlayStation. They showed off Wolverine. It looks like a very gory game. It looks like Like it, like if cranking up like gore effects to comedic levels is your jam, it looks like you're gonna really get a kick out of Marvel's Wolverine. I'll probably pick it up. I will probably pick it up, but I also pick up my games on PC, not PlayStation, on PC, so I have to wait, which unfortunately is a price paid in the currency of time. You just have to wait a couple of months, sometimes over a year for that stuff. I'm not looking forward to that for Grand Theft Auto 6. I think Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be a game that I'm definitely not going to buy a new console for, but I'll probably actually like return to being a Twitch viewer for the first time in a long time for that game. I mean, ever since I started role playing and Grand Theft Auto roleplay became my bread and butter, as it were, when it comes to streaming and content creation. I just don't watch streams anymore. It's I either don't have time or I just have to stop myself from doing it because there's character information that I don't need to necessarily see. But I'll probably end up keeping a very, very close eye on Grand Theft Auto 6 when that comes out. Let me just quickly take a look. I'm pulling up my Steam profile now. Your Steam profile will tell you how many hours you have in a video game. Your profile itself will show you the like most recent games that you've logged some hours into. I have to do some math because unfortunately they've kind of changed up how this stuff kind of works. Here we go. I found it. I'm currently sitting at, and mind you, this is since 2020, since I started role playing. So over 6 years, I have logged 6,050 hours approximately in Grand Theft Auto 5. So I'm a little excited for Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm a little excited. I'm a little excited for that one. Let's see, what else did we get from here? Looks like Death Stranding 2 will be coming to the PC. Very cool. Death Stranding, very, 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 very well-regarded video game. Jokingly called the walking simulator. And honestly, as far as like actual like releases go, nothing too crazy here unless I'm like making a huge misstep and missing out something. In Nintendo news, Nintendo Direct is always absolutely packed to the absolute freaking brim with releases, updates, all sorts of stuff. I mean, Nintendo Direct is where they showed off the cast for the Mario movie. I think both of them actually, they did that over Nintendo Direct. New games, new consoles. This is, if you're going to learn anything about Nintendo, it's going to be in this big old presentation. It's very clean. It's very quick. It's very concise. It takes me about an actual full minute to scroll from the top of the page all the way to the bottom for Nintendo Direct here. So I'm going to give you the big releases and I'm going to do lightning round where I read just the titles as fast as I can. So for all my friends who love to own and purchase the same game over and over and over and over again to make sure that you can play it on whatever system you so choose, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. We've also got Kingdom Hearts 4 coming out for the Switch 2, and it looks like they're going to be doing a release of the entire Kingdom Hearts collection on there. My Wii Sports fans are getting Nintendo Switch Sports Resort. So get out your tennis rackets and volleyball moves and what have you, and that'll be great. This has really turned into a video game newsy recap episode, huh? Let's see. Minecraft is going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. We've got, I'm scrolling. Splatoon Raiders is a single-player Splatoon game. Splatoon being a competitive, very fun and colorful game for children. You got a Star Fox game coming out. It's going to be, it looks like it's going to be a like remaster. It's going to be a remaster of Star Fox 64, which actually might not be too shabby of a shout and might actually be worth checking out. We got Rayman Legends Retold, which is another reimagining, is what they're calling it. I don't know if that'd be a full remaster or not. I'd have to look into it. I only ever really got to play one Rayman game. It was on the PlayStation 2, and I fucking loved it. It was a great game. I've actually been gone on a tear of going back and trying to look up not just gameplay, but also if I could physically purchase a lot of these PlayStation 2 games that I played growing up. So far, my list is trying to figure out what this Rayman game was. There was a game called Armored Core, and I don't know much more about what else the rest of the title held. Then there was also a game called Metal Arms. I think it was Metal Arms Glitch in the System. That was a good game. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun with that. A lot of very like local co-op going on in that game. That was really, really good. My best bud Junkie is going to be stoked to hear that RuneScape Dragon Wilds is coming to the Switch 2 in September. And what else do we got here? Okay. Got Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration. We've got Final Fantasy, what the hell is that? 14 online. I'm sorry, Roman numerals, XIV. So Final Fantasy XIV, which I believe is 14 online, showing up on the Nintendo Switch 2, which I didn't think that we would ever get like a MMO like that on there. So that's neat. We got Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2. What else? I see this one and it's throwing me off. DayZ Cool Edition. DayZ is a zombie survival game on the PC. It started out as a mod for a game called Arma. It spun off into its own standalone game after quite some time, and is a game in which is a very like has a lot of like hyper realistic hyper realistic systems, and just a lot of like body management, but also inventory management, scavenging, hunger, temperature, and also, you guessed it, zombies, and even more dangerous than zombies, other people. Very good time. Very good game. Very, very good game. And now the part that you've been waiting for. I'm just going to be reading the bold texted title of every paragraph on here so I can just get through the entirety of Nintendo Direct for you on a technical level. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Kingdom Hearts 4, Kingdom Hearts Collection, and then parentheses 1 through 3, Nintendo Switch Sports Resort, The Dusk Bloods, Xenoblade Genesis, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition - Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, Pokemon Pokopia Free Update and Paid DLC, Minecraft, Orbitals, Onimusha, Way of the Sword, Fire Emblem, Fortune's Weave, DK Challenge, Donkey Kong Bonanza, DK Island, and Emerald Rush DLC event, Deltarune Chapter 5, Dragon Quest Monsters, The Withered World, Dragon's Dogma 2, Dark Arisen, Rhythm Heaven Groove, Splatoon Raiders, Star Fox, Big Walk, Devil May Cry 5, Devil Hunter Edition, Final Fantasy Resonance, God bless, Jujutsu Kaisen Rumble, Survivation. I didn't flub that. It's Survivation. Pikuniku 2, Rayman Legends Retold, Ninjala 2, The Uncharted Planet, Lies of P, Complete Edition, One Piece, Grand Gourmet, Hello Kitty Party Island, Muramasa, Revenant Blades, Meta 4, Re Fantasio, Stellar Blade, RuneScape, Dragon Wilds, Lords of the Fallen 2, and then in like they separated, like they also announced all of this stuff. Final Fantasy 14 Online, Tales of Eternity Remastered, Atelier Kyra, Atelier. I'm gonna just, what if it's French? The Night Kingdom and the Guide Memories, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2, SnowRunner, Observer, System Redux, Warhammer 40,000, Space Marine 2. Wait, that's coming to, how'd I miss that? DayZ Cool Edition, Everbloom, Fitness Boxing 3, Your Personal Trainer, Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Yeah, they crammed all that into one presentation. That was the whole thing. That was the whole freaking thing. Nintendo Direct is crazy, man. Nintendo Direct is crazy. But as far as like what's going on in the outside world, that's not everything that happened. There is some crazy stuff going out in the world, especially in the world of Lego. I don't know if you're aware. Has anybody else avoided this story about a $200,000 Lego Star Wars collection being stolen until you couldn't avoid it anymore? Because holy moly, I went down a rabbit hole today. So much so that I don't think I could actually cram it into one episode. I might set some free time aside and try and put out some sort of recap and discussion piece around the, what's it called? Around the whole thing, the whole story. It's a tale of hopefulness. It's a tale of optimism turned into a tale of deceit, turned into a tale of investigation, turned into a tale of police corruption, into several lawsuits, into it's one of these stories where I like, without telling you guys what's going on in the news about this, like without going into specifics, unless you go and watch some of these videos and these recaps yourself, you wouldn't fucking believe a word I was saying the entire time. I'm talking about a guy who uses like vintage Lego Star Wars collection as his life savings, which isn't as far-fetched as it seems, especially as somebody who has a father who owns a collection of Jordans and has called that his retirement plan, into a like what seems to be like a nice normal like chain of Lego, like not retailers but resellers. It's a toy store called Bricks and Minifigs. He hands over his whole set or his whole collection on consignment to this place. So every single vintage set that apparently filled the entire building, like the entire storefront of just all of his stuff, to the point to where they had to build more space out for these things. He gave it to them on consignment, which means that basically the store is selling it on his behalf. They get a percentage of the sales and he gets the other money. Into the store owners are getting like ousted by a hostile takeover from corporate, into there are Lego sets missing all of a sudden. And now people are like investigating it, but the investigation's going nowhere. So now there's like a third party investigator, who's like a YouTuber. I still don't have a full grasp on this. And like to go find these goddamn Legos and or the money therein, which then turned into investigation, turned into lawsuit, turned into winning the lawsuit, which turned into trying to get the money from the lawsuit, which then turned into harassment charges. And which also then turned into like appearing like the local police were in the back pocket of some like dude, which then turned into now a guy who's being sued, who has a warrant out for his arrest in his hometown, who then flees to fucking Mexico for the time being, and then gets served his court documents via email. Which apparently, if you just open an email, that technically counts as you being served for a lawsuit, which actually kind of blows my mind a little bit. It's a whole thing and it's a developing story, and I want to sink my teeth into every word everyone has to say, and every line and every beat and every possible thing. I want to know everything there is to know about all of it, because holy crap, it's insane. It's insane. I'm making a decision because I definitely completely flubbed on not delivering a Q&A episode for the month. I'm going to actually roll these questions over into like a mid-month update just to give myself a little extra time. So the June one, which is, or the May Q&A, which is supposed to come out on June 1st, is going to come out on June 15th. And that will include any questions also tacked on in the first 2 weeks of June. So my bad, but definitely check out patreon.com/bookdumb for a recounting and retelling of an insane investigation of stolen and lost Legos. Q&A episodes. We're going to talk about the moon. We're going to talk about what the hell goes on the moon, what they want to do on the moon, how many people they're going to put on the moon, who's going to work there, what the commute's going to look like. Space elevators are a thing. It's insane. But you can find all of that right to where you're listening to this podcast, whether it be on YouTube or Spotify. And if you want to listen to your episodes the entire weekend early, I highly suggest you check out patreon.com/bookdumb and consider supporting a little podcaster dream. I will catch you guys later. I hope you guys had a fantastic past 2 weeks. And if they were rough, I do apologize for not being there halfway through to help out. Let's take that energy. Let's turn it into a positive week. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you and bye-bye.